Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. So I'm not even gonna try to justify it anymore. I bought a lot of books over the past month. On Family Day, which is a long weekend in February here in Alberta, Matthew was gone away and he had the car with him, and I was super bored and I was just sitting around the house with basically nothing to do. So I went online and decided to buy a whole bunch of books. So this is going to be part one of a massive book haul. So I think total I have about 36 books. So I decided to split them into two videos because what I find in the analytics, if the videos are too long, people just stop watching them, which I totally understand. So I have new books here and vintage books. So I decided to split it into two. So this part of the video will be all of the vintage books that I got, because as we know, that's my favorite thing to haul is vintage horror. And so in the next video, we'll go through all of the new books that I hauled. So I have, I think 16 or 17 vintage horror books, and so excited to get a hold of a bunch of these. Some of these is the first time I've actually seen them, so that's amazing. Some of them I've seen them before and I knew I had to snatch them up right away because they're starting to get really hard to find, and in some cases they're starting to get very expensive. So we've got some of our favorites in here. Fear Street, Christopher Pike, the whole thing. So hopefully you guys will stick around and we can nerd out over some vintage horror for a little while. And all of these books except for two, I think, came from two of my favorite Etsy shops. So my friend Marissa, who runs Spooky Sellables, contributed a huge amount to this collection, and the other shop is run by a girl named Lauren. She's fantastic, and her shop is called 90s Finds with Lauren. And both of these shops don't only have books, they have VHS tapes and CDs and cassettes and memorabilia and trinkets and all kinds of things. So I've linked both of their shops below. They do ship to the US as well as Canada, so please go check them out. Their rates are fantastic, and they always have really rare books in their shops, so you have to jump on it quickly. And I've also left their Instagram links down below too, so you can keep an eye on their Instagram accounts for when they're going to drop new merchandise, because like I said, you have to jump on it kind of right away. So let's jump right in here. So the first one I have is A Nightmare Haul by Diane Ho. So this is last date, and this is the first time I've seen this particular book. So I was super excited when I saw this pop up. I believe in Lauren's shop she had this one. And so the cover, of course, is fully embossed, and it has that wonderful die cut cover as well. So I love these books. You know, they just don't make them like this anymore. They don't put a ton of work and a ton of care, and of course it would be very expensive to print these step back covers these days. So was super excited to get this one, and I had to laugh when I read the synopsis because Demi, who is the girl in this book, decides that she's going to put a classified ad into the paper to try to find a guy, try to find Mr. Right. And I remember growing up seeing the classified ads in newspapers and stuff like that, and my friends and I would giggle over it. So of course these days they have all kinds of, you know, internet dating sites and stuff, but back in the day people used to put letters into the paper and try to put people together basically in the classified ads. So Demi starts to get all sorts of calls from guys, and it says the nights are everything she advertised for, unforgettable but unforgettably frightening, because one by one Demi's dates start having nasty little accidents, disappearing and even dying. So seems like Demi maybe has a stalker of sorts, and everyone that she goes out with starts turning up dead. So this particular one is from, this is the first printing from 1994. 94, like I keep saying, is my favorite year, so super excited to get that one. And unfortunately it is the only Nightmare haul. But what I'm finding is the ones that I have in the collection are the ones that you constantly see, and the ones that I don't have are getting more and more rare to find. So I was happy to find this one. So even though it's just one for the Nightmare Haul collection, I was still happy to find it. And next up, again, super rare, is another Are You Afraid of the Dark for the collection. So Marissa had this one and 2 others that were from Are You Afraid of the Dark novelizations that were posted in her shop, and the other 2 I had already had. So this one is one that I don't see very often, and super cheesy cover. This is fantastic. I love the cheesy covers on these Are You Afraid of the Dark novelizations. It was my favorite show growing up, and these are getting super hard to find. So this particular one is called The Tale of the Horrifying Hockey Team, and I mean, obviously, as you can tell, this has to do with a hockey team. So the protagonists are a team that they're really great friends, and they all show up at the same pond. So this is, you know, one of those classic sort of hockey teams that play on the frozen ponds outside. So they show up to their normal spot, and to their surprise, there's already another team that's skating in their area. So of course they're like, hey, what's going on? So this starts a competition between the 2 teams. Basically, winner takes all. So they want to have a game, and whoever wins the game gets to have that space for their practices going forward. But this other team seems really weird, and they're strangely competitive. And it says here, their eyes glitter, their skin feels icy to the touch. Where did these guys come from? 2 games later, John and his teammates are exhausted and even more determined to win. Then the other team's goalie whispers fiercely to John, next game, no survivors. The clock ticks. Only seconds remain in the game. Then the ice cracks open. So sounds wonderfully cheesy, like the Are You Afraid of the Dark stories are. So I was really excited to find one of these. It's not in fantastic condition, but I think out of the 3 that I have, this one is actually the best one. So I have to start reading some of these as well. So I'm going to continue to collect them, but I actually do want to pick up one of these fairly soon. And next up we have a Lois Duncan book. So this is Gallows Hill, and this seems like a fairly new copy. Let's just check when this is from. This is 1998, so, you know, fairly new, I guess, compared to some of the other ones that are in the early 90s. So Lois Duncan, of course, is the author of I Know What You Did Last Summer, which was turned into a movie. And then there's another book by Lois Duncan that's called Killing Mr. Griffin that I've heard is very good, and I actually have a copy of that one as well. It's not a vintage copy, it's new. So it says here, Sarah can see people's secrets in an ordinary crystal paperweight. And then it says, too bad they still believe in witches in Pinecrest, and they don't like them at all. Sarah's about to relive a horrible ordeal that happened hundreds of years ago, unless someone can undo a terrible wrong. So sounds like it has to do with like the burning times with the Salem witches and stuff like that, and, you know, a girl in modern times that's experiencing some of the things from back then. So this sounds fantastic. Like I said, really excited to have another book for the Lois Duncan collection. And again, with these, I have to start reading these fairly soon. I want to pick up that Killing Mr. Griffin, because I keep hearing that that one is really fantastic. So once I get around to that one and then this one, I'll let you guys know how it goes. And then next up, this is the first time I've seen this book, but it was in fantastic condition, and the cover is just fantastic. Just check out on this cover on Headhunter. So I don't know how well it's showing up here, but this eye is incredibly spooky, and this whole cover is embossed as well. So this is Headhunter by Michael Slade, and let's just see when this one's from. Oh, this one's quite old. It's actually from 1986, and it says on the back here, it began with horror, then it got worse. There were still traces of extraordinary beauty in the woman's brutally violated body, but there was no way of knowing how beautiful she'd once been. Her head was missing. She was the first, but there were more to come, many more. So a little bit of a crime thriller mystery kind of. So I was so excited to get this one for the collection. The only thing is that the type is very small in this. So I'm going to see if I can get a digital copy so I can blow up the text on my Kindle. My eyes are just getting terrible in the past couple of years. And not only is the text really small, but even the line spacing is quite close together. And I find when I read that kind of type, my eyes just start doing weird things. So really excited to have this for the collection. Sounds like a great thriller. And then I'll see if I can get it on digital copy as well. And then this one was really cute. I've never seen anything like this before. This is called Vampires of Ottawa, a Liz Austen mystery by Eric Wilson. And it says on the back, Eric Wilson Mysteries. So, and it has this totally cheesy illustration on the inside. So I'll show you this. So Vampires of Ottawa. So obviously a Canadian publication. And then I don't know how well you can see this, but totally creepy illustration on the inside here, or photograph, I guess. And it says, Merry Christmas, Devon, from Mrs. Robinson. So it looks like a teacher had given this to a student at some point. And that is, if you just look at that again, that is very teacher-ish writing, definitely. So on the back here it says, within the walls of the gloomy estate known as Blackwater, Liz Austen discovers the strange world of Baron Nikolai Zaba, a man who lives in constant fear. What is the secret of the ancient chapel's underground vault? Why are the words "an evil memory" scrawled on the wall? Who secretly threatens the Baron? And the answers lie within these pages, but be warned. Reading this book will make your blood run cold. So that sounds wonderfully cheesy. I have never heard of this before, but it looks fantastic. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't like to see like when people write their names and stuff in books, but when it's like a gift and someone has written an inscription inside a book, I just love that because it's just its own piece of history. And we know that Devon probably cherished this book, especially because, you know, obviously his teacher or whoever it was that gave this to him knew what his interests were. So that sounds fantastic. It's really super short, and I'm going to keep my eye out for more of these Eric Wilson mysteries because this dude looks super cheesy and I love that. So Vampires of Ottawa, so really excited to have that one as well. And then getting into some Christopher Pike, so we have some fantastic copies to add to the collection. So this one is not in perfect condition. The cover has a couple of creases and stuff like that, but here we have Slumber Party, of course, which is one of Christopher Pike's, or it's the one that's Christopher Pike's first book. But the inside and the back end look fairly good. So this one is from 1985. So this book is almost as old as I am. I'm very old, but it's in fantastic condition for being almost 40 years old. So really, really excited to have a copy of this one. It's getting up there to being very expensive when you find them on eBay, particularly because this was one of the early ones. So on the back here, it says, it was the perfect weekend for murder. So by the sounds of it, this is about 6 girlfriends who decide that they're going to go on a ski weekend, and they're staying in, you know, like a chalet or whatever, and they are excited to ski and probably drink and just have a really, really good time. And then it says, until things started to go wrong. It wasn't much at first, a snowman that had melted when it shouldn't have, a weird phone call. But then somebody went out for one last run and didn't come back. And the storm they heard about on the radio was getting worse. Lara thought everyone was up there for a good time, but she was beginning to realize that someone was there for murder. So sounds like these kids are going to get snowed into this cabin with the storm, and there's a murderer amongst them. So I've heard that this isn't a fantastic book, but I was super, super excited just to get a copy of it. I love the orange on the cover, and of course it has that embossing that everyone loves so much. And I want to try to pick this up fairly soon because I want to see for myself just how cheesy and badly written this book is. like I said, specifically because this is one of his earlier books. Christopher Pike, like I've mentioned many times on the channel, was my go-to when I was growing up. Of course, I read R.L. Stine and the rest, but Christopher Pike was my guy. So super excited to have this one. And then next is The Visitor. So the only thing that I don't like about this book, this is in fantastic condition, by the way, especially for being, when is this from? This is the first printing from 1995. The only thing I don't like is that it does not have the step back cover art, because I have several books now that have the Pike is die cut, and then, but it still has this amazing artwork on the interior. So you can see here all of these kids in this group. So that's the only thing I don't like, is it doesn't have the die cut piece on the cover, but you know, not a big deal. I'm just happy to have this for the collection. So it says, Tom was not like a normal teenager. First off, he looked weird. He was too tall, too thin, and his hair was practically white. Also, he had incredible eyes. When you looked into them, you felt like you were staring into deep space. Some thought he was from outer space. Almost everyone believed he was a nice guy. But was Tom really nice? Was he even human? So really, I'm really intrigued to see how that kind of works into this illustration in the front here, and what's going on in this story. So that sounds fantastic. And then the next Pike that we have is Remember Me 3, which is the last one I needed for my Remember Me mini series. And fortunately, this one does have the die cut cover. So we have the step back here with this fantastic illustration. I just love that. I wish they still made books like that, but probably our books would be triple the price. So, but this one and one of the Fear Street that I have in this haul look almost brand new. Like, this book looks like it was just taken out of the bookstore. There's barely a blemish on it. I couldn't believe how good condition this was when it arrived. And this one is a first printing from 1995 as well. So the fact that this looks, like I said, almost like it just came out of a bookstore. There's just one single little blemish here on the E. So fantastic copy. And that's definitely something I'm going to put on the shelf and cherish for a long time. And then the last Christopher Pike that I have is one that not only have I never heard of before, but I've never seen it around, never heard of it, nothing. And this is called Execution of Innocence. And to tell you the truth, this one also looks like it's almost brand new. So this one was from 1995. This one, and it doesn't follow the same sort of cover layout as a lot of the Pike ones do. So this is the first printing from 1997. So this is one of the later ones. And it says on the back here, Charlie loved Mary, loved her with all his heart. They were a happy couple, the one that people at school pointed to with envy. But then Mary made a mistake, a small mistake with another guy, and then Charlie loses it, and someone dies. And Charlie is a hunted man and Mary is an outcast. So that's all I need to know. I'm so excited to have this. Like I said, when I see something in a shop or out in the wild that I've never heard of before, and like I said, Christopher Pike is my guy. He's my dude. So the fact that I had never heard of this before, and then saw it pop up in Marissa's shop was just fantastic. I had to jump on it right away. So really happy to have that one for the collection. And then the last group of books I have here, of course, are Fear Street that I needed for my collection. So, of course, it wouldn't be one of my book hauls without some R.L. Stine. And before I get into these, I was so happy to see that my IKEA is finally getting in some more Billy bookshelves. So I think they've been out for at least 6 months, if not more. So the only thing was I wanted to get one of the skinny units to put in the corner, and then another one of these full-sized ones, but they didn't have any of the skinny ones. They're not coming in for another 4 weeks, but these ones are in stock. And I was like, well, what do I do? Because I had saved up the money for it, and then I was like, I don't want to wait to get these because I don't want them to sell out again before the other ones come in. So I went ahead and I actually got 2 more of these, and when the skinny ones come in another month, I'll get another one to put in there. So I'm really excited because I'll have this whole corner wrapped by next month, and then I won't have to have my filming area and my work area in the same spot. So I can have my filming area and it's just permanently set up. So then I don't have to basically rip apart my workstation for my job in order to set up my filming station, which is what I'm doing right now, and it really sucks. So that's the update on the bookshelves. So all of these books will have a new home, and I won't have to double up on the book storage here for another good while. So super excited that IKEA finally got more Billies in. So enough of that, let's get into the Fear Street. So the first one is one of the Fear Street sagas. This is number 5, The Hidden Evil. So I got this one and one more, I can't remember which one it was, but they were $2, and that's pretty much unheard of these days for Fear Street. So it says here, Timothy has a story to tell, a dangerous story, a story that has power over those who listen to it. The power to awaken creatures best left sleeping, the power to summon the dead. It is a story of evil, the worst evil imaginable, the evil in the heart of a child. So, you know what's funny is I always get confused because they have the Fear Street sagas. No, Fear Street sagas, and then they have the Fear Street saga. So this is for a while there I was a little bit confused when I started collecting these because I read a lot of the early ones but not a lot of the later ones. So this one is first printing from 1997. So this was the first time I had seen this one out in the wild. So I believe there's 10 books in this particular mini series, and this is my 4th one. So super excited that I finally found another one of the sagas. And then I found another one that was from the 99 Fear Street spin-off. So this is The House of Evil, and this book again is in fantastic condition. Like, the camera doesn't do it justice. This book is literally shiny. It looks like it just came out of Chapters or Indigo or Barnes & Noble or wherever you want to call it. So I was super excited for the condition of this book. It doesn't look like it was ever read. So I sent Marissa a note actually, and I was like, oh my god, the condition of these books is like off the charts. And this one is September 1994. So again, the fact that this is in such good condition is outstanding. So this follows Brent McCloy, who has moved into 99 Fear Street, and he has no idea what house he has moved into. So he's from somewhere else, moves into this house. He doesn't know about the headless bodies, the bleeding walls. He doesn't know that Callie Frazier still haunts the house and plans gruesome deaths for him and everyone close to him. Poor Brent, what he doesn't know will hurt him. So super excited to have that. I am doing a reread of the Fear Street series this year. I just finished number 1, I believe, back in January. February I didn't read any Fear Street, but definitely want to get into one hopefully in the next couple of days, because I don't know the whole story of Fear Street from beginning to end, and what I do remember is very fuzzy because, like I said, this was quite a while ago that I read these. So super excited to have another one for the collection, and the fact that this is in immaculate condition is just outstanding. So next up from 1995 is College Weekend, and this is another first printing. So here we follow Tina Rivers, and she is going to spend some time with her boyfriend on the college campus, and her cousin, is it her cousin? Yes, Holly is tagging along with her. But when the girls get there, Josh's roommate said that he's stuck in the mountains and nobody can get a hold of him. So Tina is kind of weirded out because she didn't even know he was going away. And then it says, it gets even weirder when Holly suddenly disappears. But Christopher isn't worried. Christopher is Josh's roommate. About Holly or Josh, Christopher seems to have the answer to everything. Tina is confused. But one thing is clear, She's about to learn more about love and murder than she ever wanted to know. So I have a funny feeling this is going to have one of those classic twist Fear Street endings. So that sounds great. And next up is Lights Out, and it says, it all happens in the dark. And this one is from 1991, so this one is quite old as well. And it says on the back here, welcome to Fear Street. Don't listen to the stories they tell you about Fear Street. Wouldn't you rather explore it yourself and see if the dark terror and unexplained mysteries are true? You're not afraid, are you? So that's all I needed to know. It's got quite a long synopsis on the back. So that sounds fantastic. It looks like this girl is in for quite a time exploring Fear Street. And then we've got Final Grade. And this one, again, is, yeah, some of these, actually most of these don't have the embossed covers, but this one does. So this one has the great embossed cover. This is Final Grade. And this is the first printing from 1995. This one is in great condition as well. So it says, everyone thinks she killed her teacher. Intense, competitive, Lily Bancroft has good reasons to hate him. She lives to win, and he was about to destroy her dreams. But murder? That was going too far, even for someone as driven as Lily. So it sounds like a murder mystery here, and it sounds like Lily is on the hook because she is super competitive, and everyone knows you can't trust a driven woman. So that sounds fantastic, and I'm so glad it has the nice embossed cover. And then I've always laughed at the cover of this one because she just, the expression on her face, I don't know, is just so strange. It's just very, very cheesy, and on the back it has a close-up even of it. I don't know, it just always makes me laugh. So this one is first printing from 1992, and on the back here it says, best friends to the end. Who is Honey Perkins? She's been telling everyone at Shadyside that Becca Norwood is her best friend, but Becca's not sure she's ever met Holly before. So that sounds creepy. Sounds like kind of a stalker sort of obsession kind of mystery. And like I said, that cover always makes me laugh. So this is another one that I don't see around as much as some of the other ones, so I was super excited to get that one. And then same thing with this one. This is the Fire Game, and so no embossing on this cover. So this is from March 1991 as well, so this is one of the earlier ones. And on the back here it says, it was just a game. The first fire started almost by accident, a wastebasket fire in the school library. Jill Franks and her friends found it exciting, and it got them out of school for a few hours. So looks like this one is kind of like an arson sort of fire starter, pyromaniac sort of story. And it says on the bottom, when one of their fires ends in murder, the game ends and the real terror begins. All of them realize that someone is playing the game for keeps. Now Jill has no choice. She knows she must find the murderer before her life goes up in flames. So this one I got for super cheap at the used bookstore for $4. And so this one and the other one, $6. And this particular bookstore is way down in South Calgary. So I just had them ship it, and it was actually cheaper than driving down there. So I was super, super happy to get this one because like I said, I haven't seen this one out in the wild very much either. And then the last one that I got, this one doesn't have any embossing on the cover. It says, some girls will do anything for a guy, even kill. So this is the Dare, and this one is from February 1994. And it says, nice girls don't kill. Joanna Wise has always longed to be part of Dennis Arthur's rich, popular crowd, and she can't believe it when he finally asks her out. Now she'll do anything to keep hanging out with his cool friends and keep Dennis as her boyfriend. So when Dennis dares her to kill their teacher, Mr. Northwood, she doesn't say no. She can't. Besides, it was only a joke, right? So sounds like a dare gone wrong. And was this the same guy in the other book? Final Grade? Oh, it doesn't say, but it sounds like the Shadyside students are really into killing their teachers, so that's pretty creepy. But there you go, super excited to have all of those vintage Fear Street for the collection. I scooped up quite a few in the month of February, all of the Christopher Pike and the other books. We've got the vampires in Ottawa and Lois Duncan and the whole thing. So I was super, super excited with this vintage part of the haul. Like I said, I have a part 2 coming of this one. That's going to be all of my new books that I hauled. They were actually bargain books that I got out of Book Outlet. They had a buy 2 get 1 free sale. So we'll have a look at those ones in the next video. But for now, that's all I have for you. Please make sure to give me a thumbs up. Leave me a question or a comment down below because you know I love chatting with you guys. But until next time, stay spooky, everybody. Bye.